have video. Have you missed it? No, well, pretend for my sake. We have a new project coming up, and so I've got the recording set up again, and hopefully this mic is working. I can't really see the computer monitor from here, but I see the audio levels doing stuff. It's probably a little noisy here. I've got an air purifier on one side of me and a 3D printer on the other, but we'll make do with it. So we have a project coming up that's going to involve having to read signals, which is why I've got this window here. If I disconnect the waveform generator, you will see that it actually updates, which is cool. Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay between the DSO input and what the Rigel sees, but you know, we do what we can here. Now, the project we have coming up is going to involve a couple of things. A Teensy. It involves a Teensy 3.2. This is a Teensy 3.2. And so is this, because I forgot I already had one. But that means we can not worry about the header pins, even though we might need to. This is an audio shield for a Teensy 3.2, because the Teensy 3.2 uses a processor, which specs I forget. This driving me nuts. No. If I'd actually replaced the trash bag, that would have gone right in the trash. We're doing a project that's going to require some sound output, so I have this. It can play sounds off of the SD card. This is actually why I'm not using a 3.5 for this, because this already has one built in, which means I can get away with the smaller, cheaper. Now, this isn't capable of driving speakers directly. It can do headphones and it can do line out, so I'll need something, you know, with an amplifier in it. Oh look, something with an amplifier in it. I'll be able to disregard most of this circuit here. This was a very early attempt at, well, essentially what I'm doing now. This is a sound effects board that has a very little amount of memory, but it can output sounds that this thing tells it to output. But the only thing I actually want from this is our Class D amplifier. So, actually, for testing purposes, I will also want these, because our project, it's me. It's going to use NeoPixels. Come on. There are going to be two outputs for this, which is to say a left and a right, I guess. I have just a few of these radios left over. I only have one of these audio shields, so one way or the other I would have to run stuff over. You can sort of transmit audio over these wireless chips. I don't want to try, that sounds like a pain, so we're not going to do it. We're just going to wire the two directly. So there's going to be one speaker in each, and there's going to be lights in each. And the new thing I've never played with, there's going to be a passive infrared detector in each, which is the whole reason I have this thing set up, because I have no idea how these things work. So let's find out. There are times where a good stiff metal tool is sounding a little suggestive. These things are a pain to get out. Now, I only have a little bit of time before I have to start cooking dinner, but let's play around with one of these and see what it does. Now, these things will accept like 3 to 12 volts. We have a positive here, we have a ground here, and we have an output in the middle, which I'll run out the back. These alligator clips always scare me because I'm always afraid I'm going to cross them. So a little trick I invented is to use poster tack. So we can just tack these right down to our work surface in such a way that they can't very easily touch each other. So I know! I'm going to assume I'm going to run the whole project off 5 volts, so let's tune for that. 4.98, that's pretty good. We haven't let out the magic smoke. Alright, we are now hooked up. We have a signal. And now we don't have a signal. Now we have a signal. Now I have it working. See? So it detects motion. If I hold still for a while, it not detect motion. So it's a very simple, high is for detection, low is for no detection, and I believe if I hold still, yep, but if I move, Nice. So that's a digital circuit. That's nice and easy to work with. I do have 2 of these, so I can put 1 in each. Although, see, I'm way over here, and I'm waving my hand way off camera, and that's still enough to trigger this thing. Yeah, I'm almost 180 degrees from that thing, and it's triggering, so I don't really think I need 2 of these. But I have 2 if I want to use 2. Maybe, in order to hide these, I can have them coming off the side of the work, so it's very hard to see, and it won't impede the front of it, because it's going to be an artistic front to this. I need to remember I have to get my hands over here and be like gesturing all over the bit. That is part 1 figured out. Then we will also need to figure out what we're going to do with the lights exactly, and what we're going to do with the sound exactly, and how I somehow managed to invert that cone twice. Okay, on the plus side, these are not our final speakers. I went out to the store to get some, and I found that they were half the price literally on Amazon, so I'm waiting for a delivery for tomorrow. We'll be back later. Okay, I'm not going to make a long video tonight, and in fact, I wasn't going to make one at all, but I had to share this. First of all, I did successfully get the audio board working, as demonstrated by the random wave files I pulled. But anyway, I would like to point out that these little dinky things are not the final speakers. This is going to go to 11. I have the final speakers installed now, and I have created and picked and created. I have picked an MP3 file that I have then turned into a WAV file, and I have installed the final speakers. However, they're a little on the tinny side. But as nice of speakers as $20 can buy you, they're not in an enclosure right now, and I think that's affecting the sound. So what we're going to do today, what we're going to do next, is we are going to turn the box into a temporary enclosure and see if that improves the bass. On the box, oh, and I've got my controller installed now, so I can actually zoom in, and it'll just turn on autofocus. Instant auto. Didn't work. Oh, you know what? 2 feet is the best I can focus down. Might have to raise the camera, but we'll worry about that later. So I apologize, this is probably still looking a bit blurry. But dimension B is what we're looking for. That is 139 millimeters. We can still work with that, so that's 50, 65, 69 and a half millimeters. Alright, we'll lock that in there. I really hope this was zeroed out when I started. Here, we'll use the front face. And as the speaker catches my X-Acto knife with the magnet, I nearly impale myself. They say you're supposed to cut towards your chum, but I don't have any friends, so. Kidding. If you're my friend, I'm kidding. If you're my friend, you're probably not watching this because none of my friends subscribe. But you should you should totally subscribe. I want you in my sub list. Now we have our nice little sounding chamber. One of the things I know that they always do is they shove some random junk into here. So I happen to have some random junk here. We install the speaker. Done. Now, let's plug it in and see how it sounds. Oh yeah, that makes a fair amount of difference. A bigger box would give me a better result, but you know what? I can live with this.